Hi, this is Dr. David Klein in Longwood, Florida, Stages of Life Medical Institute. Wouldn't you know it, we're going to talk about what's real and to use the pop culture, what is Memorex? Okay, back in the day, is it real or is it Memorex? What is real? What is made up? We're looking at fiction, we're looking at supposition. So I have a lot of patients, especially people from outside of the area going, well, do you really believe in this? Because we're not seeing dead people on the road. We're not seeing this. We're not seeing that. What do you think? And what I would tell you, okay, is that this isn't like the war on poverty, where you can just drive around and see poor people. Wouldn't you know it? That used to be good sport. You can drive around and see people living under bridges. You can see drug addicts. You can see prostitutes. You can see all kinds of odd things, let's say. But it's very, very hard to see people on ventilators. Wouldn't you know? You really can't go in there and take pictures of them, movies on them for Facebook, because A, they don't let you. B, there's a small matter of HIPAA. You just really can't go ahead and do this. And wouldn't you know it, doctors and nurses, they tend to keep things to themselves with regards to matters of privacy if you're in the UK. All right, so what is real and what isn't real? The body bags are real. The cremation urns in China are real. The fact that you can't go out of your house is very, very real. And we have people that are going, well, I think it's a conspiracy for this, that, or the other. Who has to gain from this? And the answer is, drum roll, nobody. Nobody has anything to gain from taking a winning economy and turning it into the world's biggest loser. It doesn't happen. If anybody is going to gain from this, it's going to be folks far outside of this country that may, in fact, be in some manner responsible for keeping us in the dark as to what this was about, me being one of them. I know a lot about coronavirus, okay, but this particular one, not so much. The data was to be seen, but it was to be seen behind an iron curtain, Winston Churchill's Iron Curtain. You couldn't see what was going on. We have assets in China. They were not allowed to see it, report it, or do anything else with it. Their own people are still not allowed to report it. So we never got a chance to see what the virulence was of this bug, what the anticipated damage was going to be, and they allowed their personnel to come from China, or they would go here and there to include the United States. The same thing happened in Europe. They allowed these individuals to track it, okay, from where they were to where they weren't, and who benefits from it. Okay, right now, I think we are going to benefit from it. The United States is going to benefit from it. So what is real? Because we're going to bounce out of this stronger. It's happened every time that we've had, let's say, a negative event. Okay, whether that negative event was war, whether that negative event was a bad outcome from X, Y, and Z, or a plane running into a building, that might have some kind of impact. We are going to have an opportunity to come back stronger. We can reevaluate our relationship with important people abroad, like China. Wouldn't you know it? We're going to rethink our dependence on India. We're going to rethink our dependence on Saudi Arabia. We're going to rethink our independence and dependence on other outside parties. And this is terribly important. It does not mean that we don't want to trade with them, but it means that we don't want to be dependent. If you have an allowance from your parents, okay, you know who you are. Okay, don't you think it feels a little bit better to be able to earn the money yourself? And then if they give you something, it's really not going to sink you if you don't get it. That's kind of what we've got going on right now. In terms of medications, we are reliant on outside sources that don't even like us very much, truth be told. So we have to suck up to them in order to get what we need. So that is going to change. The World Health Organization, that's a group that I pretty well looked up to until this occurred. It's been politicized. It has been for decades. Why is this a big deal? You might not even care. Well, who cares about the World Health Organization? Well, I do, because they come down with recommendations that actually impact what I do for a living, and what I've seen come out of there was wrong. We fund it the way we funded it after the Second World War, when Europe was devastated. Well, this organization is in Switzerland. Why do we have to support 30-40% of that organization when there are another 150 countries in the world that benefit from it? So we need to cut it back, and maybe we'll get some value out of it instead of having it be a talking head for China. So what is real? Let's look at the news conferences, okay? I have never in my history, my years, ever seen a president get up on a daily basis to let you know what's going on. And then he's got a room full, now less than a room full, happily, of individuals that are doing nothing but picking at scabs, looking for this, looking for, well, gee, is there any acrimony amongst your half a dozen people that are your closest advisors? And then start making drama where there isn't. Is that real? And the answer is no. What they're doing is trying to guarantee their own jobs, when in fact what they should be doing is making sure that you understand what is real and what isn't real. You really think anybody cares that the president doesn't like somebody on that team? It doesn't really matter. Do you think he cares that nobody likes him as a person? He didn't win a personality contest. He won the presidency, and thank God he did, because if we had somebody that was weak up there, there'd be a whole lot more dead now than there would have been. Does that mean I like him? I've never had the opportunity to meet him, okay? So what do I think? I think that you need to look at what's real, what's made up, what's phony. If you're sitting back thinking that there's some kind of grand conspiracy, when was the last time you found a grand conspiracy that involved more than 3 people that it didn't blab out inside of a week? You can't even keep a secret in your own family, and you think you can do it in the federal government? Not a chance. Okay, it doesn't work that way. It is a sieve of data. And the good news is that other governments are equally porous. They're just as big as sieve. That's keeping us all safe. As long as we all know what everybody else is doing, wouldn't you know it, we're not going to go ahead and stab each other willy-nilly in the back. That's what started the First World War. Okay, and that's what continued through the Second World War. We don't need any more of that nonsense. So what is real? Look around you, understand that they're keeping the dead people in refrigerated trucks. I happen to know where those trucks are kept. I have people in my family that work in the intensive care unit, watching them being taken out in body bags. Okay, and I worry about these people. Why? Because they're the ones that are at greatest risk of catching this nonsense. So what is real? This is a real deal. The fact that it's not happening next door to you is but by a grace of God, okay? Because it could have happened. Had we not acted, it would have happened. Thank you. This is Dr. David Klein, Stages of Life Medical Institute, sunny Longwood, Florida.